I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, right down to it. Non-public and public meeting minutes from the November 21st meeting. Somebody want to move that?
Make a motion to approve the non-public meeting minutes and public meeting minutes from 11/21/24.
Second.
Okay, motion by Scott, second by Don. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda.
Make a motion.
Can I just tell you, so I had to change it up from what you got last night slightly. I can explain more when we get into discussion if you need me to, but I just wanted you to know that.
Okay. Make a motion to accept the consent agenda for 12/5/24, consisting of accounts payable manifest dated 11/27/24, accounts payable manifest dated 12/3/24, accounts payable manifest dated 12/5/24, distribution of funds from police vehicle capital reserve in the amount of $18,751.30, distribution of funds from town building maintenance capital reserve in the amount of $25,738.09, distribution of funds from sewer capital reserve to the town's general fund in the amount of $53,973.50, distribution of funds from water capital reserve to the town's general fund in the amount of $40,472.50, transfer of funds of water operating fund to
It
the
didn't
checking
say.
account. Transfer of funds sewer operating fund to the sewer checking account. Removal of credits as property no longer qualifies from map lot.
It didn't say right.
It didn't say, oh, I was gonna say, where's the amounts?
Sorry.
Okay.
So this up to here is
Yeah,
right, these are
okay.
different.
All right.
Sorry.
All right, so backing up.
Sorry about that.
Where am I here?
Number 10.
Yeah, from number 6. Okay. Backing up to the transfer of funds from town's general fund from water department in the amount of $46,465.40. Transfer of funds from the general fund to the sewer department's operating fund in the amount of $66,983.39. Distribution of funds from the sewer capital reserve fund to the sewer bank account in the amount of $60,486.50. Distribution from the water capital reserve to the water bank account in the amount of $40,472.50. Removal of credits from as the property no longer qualifies from map lot 109-043 in the amount of $30,000 and map lot 114-022 in the amount of $750. Review and continued approval for the following properties. What does that mean?
Don't ask me. No. Apparently, I shouldn't do this on a Thursday, the night before the meeting. They reviewed the exemptions and credits for these properties. So it's continued approval for the exemptions and credits.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Continued approvals that already exist, I imagine, for the following
Yes.
properties.
Yeah.
Map lot 107-039, map lot 203-029, map lot 217-045, map lot 216-006, and map lot 209-014. That's it.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Good.
The moving the money for the truck from water and sewer, that's for one truck, that total would be $101,000? And it's,
No, it's not just truck.
it's two, but the same, it's got the same serial number. I
Yeah.
think. If you look
It's
at
not
the
just
Verhoney,
Should be 50% from each.
It's
fund.
50% from each, but it also includes not just truck. Let me open that up.
It's a shared truck, it's a shared truck.
Are you looking at the transfer number 6 and 7 for 113,000?
No, there's one for 40,472. And then there's one for
Oh, no, there's more than the truck.
60,486, but they're for a vehicle with the same serial number.
So the 60,486 is half the vehicle, and if you roll further down, it's the sludge dumpster.
It's, say again?
It's the sludge dumpster also, so it's both, it's half the vehicle plus the sludge dumpster.
Thank you.
Because he has to transfer this money from operating into the checking accounts, because that was what was spent from those capital projects, so that's what he was.
No, I was just trying to understand. So it's a shared vehicle?
It is a shared, so 50/50
Okay.
between water and sewer, and then the reason sewer's higher is because the sludge dumpster was in that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, public hearing.
Hold on, I'd like to make a motion to seal the non-public meeting minutes from tonight, because they affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board.
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Carol to seal the minutes of tonight's non-public meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Yeah,
That said, so tonight is the third and final public hearing for the property at 85 Lake Street that we are holding in accordance with RSA 41, semicolon 14-A, authority to sell property. The hearing is regarding the potential sale of property located at 85 Lake Street, which is a former fire department, which includes the building and approximately .664 acres. So I will open up the public hearing, and I will open up to the public.
We have a public.
Might I go ahead first if you have.
Oh, I have no comments. No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Actually, we're done with our public hearings, right? We
So
did
this
two.
is the third and final public hearing where you
Oh,
have to
yes.
actually take your, I just lost connection.
We have to vote tonight.
Yes.
You have to vote tonight, so you don't necessarily have to take any input from the public. This is where you would have your discussion on, I just got kicked out of the system, sorry. Where you would have to have your discussion on how you want to proceed.
So, did everybody, so obviously we need to vote to
So-
sell the building, but we also need to decide what method we're going to do so by. So
Sorry to interrupt you, Rob. There's an attorney opinion in there.
that's what I'm
Okay,
trying to
thank you.
talk about. So the attorney opinion, did everybody have a chance to look at that? So I do not believe Mike is licensed. So that kind of throws a wrench in that. I'm going to talk to him and confirm that.
The reason it came up in the conversation was I called him to find out, should we do an MOU?
Yeah.
And the concern he raised, obviously, in that opinion was usually whoever's doing your auction takes care of all of your marketing for the event.
Right.
And takes care of your purchase and sales at the event.
Yeah.
So I needed to know what I needed to do. If I need to do all the marketing, I can do that, that's not a problem. But I think you also need to vote out in public what you, if the reserve price, how you want to handle the whole thing. So.
Yeah. So I'm not completely against still moving forward with that plan. And the reason being is because if we get an auctioneer to come in, their fee is gonna be just as high as if we were listed on the market.
Right.
Right.
So there is a benefit there. But we also, you know, we're also gonna need some further guidance on that. And it sounds like they're probably not gonna wanna give it to us, judging by what they just said in this letter.
I think he will, if that's the route that we end up. I asked him to put his concerns in writing, because I thought it would be better if you had that. I think they will give us guidance going forward, and we just need to know. Obviously, obviously the attorneys will do whatever we need them to do. But he would be remiss if he didn't tell you what his
Sure.
concerns were, so,
So
And Sean is very thorough like that.
very thorough. yeah.
let's call a spade, and that this isn't gonna happen this year. It's gonna have to be after the new year. We can't market this and to get the turnout we want and turn it around and basically before Christmas,
No,
you
we
know.
don't have time.
So Mike was going to do it at no charge to the town, the auction.
No charge for the town.
So, why wouldn't we just put it on the market with a Realtor?
They do take a percent, but
No, I know they
Is
take a
it 10 or
percentage
12?
too, but
What's the matter with?
And I think you're gonna drive, the idea with the auction was to drive the price up and to get the most return for the property as we can for the town. So,
What about the idea of sealed bids with the right of refusal?
so I think sealed bid would be, you know, our next best option. And probably the easiest option.
We could do that first, and then if we don't get anything that we like, go the realtor route.
I would tend to set the reserve a little higher with a sealed bid.
Oh, yeah.
what, did he put it in his email? His concern was making the reserve your what you would want to get out of the property. He didn't recommend that. He recommended what your minimum number would be. Did I say that right? He didn't think you should make it your maximum. It should be what
It's
you would.
not.
Okay,
It
just
wasn't.
checking.
I don't think it was.
No, I
Well,
don't think
no.
it was,
If we
so,
put it lower as a starting point for the auction, that's all we get.
right.
Then he's saying we couldn't,
Correct.
that would have
Right,
been
but
bad.
if we set
bad
it-
decision, sure.
If we said, so that's only for the auction, that's not for sealed bid.
No, well, he said for sealed bids, the problem that you might run into is you set the reserve, you're gonna get someone who's going to do the reserve plus $1.
Mm-hmm.
And is that what the highest would be, or reserve plus $10?
Yep.
Some people will do that. That was, verbally, he told me that. I don't think he put it in the email.
It's not.
So that's the only other thing that, if you do the refusal, you know, we put the disclaimer in that we have the rights to refuse any and all bids if we choose, I think we can do that. But he wanted to warn, you know, nothing you do is going to be perfect.
My other concern, Dave, not only as a select board member, but as a citizen of the town, is what's gonna end up there?
Mhm.
And do we wanna have a hand in controlling what ends up there?
I don't know, how can, with an auction, we can with an auction.
I mean, I
Well,
don't.
can't with an auction,
I
no.
guess we could set parameters.
Well, we can, if you can refuse any and all bids,
Yeah.
you know, if
Do
somebody
you
can.
wanna, you have to put that you
Oh,
wanna know
man,
what it's
no.
gonna be used for in the bid. Can you do that?
That would be,
You'd have to put that, you'd have to put what would not be acceptable up front. You can't have you can't have people come and bid and then say, sorry,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have bid because we don't want your,
and legally,
whatever you
can we
want.
tell somebody what
I
they
don't know.
can do there? I mean, that doesn't seem,
It's not that you can tell someone that what they can do, but you can, there can be we can have an understanding of somebody's intentions just by knowing who it is.
I don't like it. It's not above board.
No,
Yeah, no, I agree.
they still have to go through planning.
right, it's up to the zoning, if they're following all the zoning guidelines, we can't stop them from doing it, because we don't like it.
Yeah, no, and I'm not, I don't say that maliciously, I say that just in, I wanna see what, I wanna see what's in the best interest of the town to win there.
So if you listed it with a Realtor at a price way above what we actually think we will get for it, then what would the harm be with them bringing in offers?
And they're gonna take 5%.
That's what I was just gonna look at.
But they'll do all the work too. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
you do get a value out of that 5%, as far as all the paperwork and things like that.
And you can refuse
Yeah.
offers.
Maybe we find a realtor that will do less than 5. Possible.
I was just trying to see.
Yeah, you can negotiate the fee, it doesn't have to be 5%.
We have some realtors in town that are pretty supportive of the town.
I say we can go to both, we're 2 in town.
3.
We did get the market analysis from one, but I
That
don't
was from
see,
Old Mill.
yeah, but I don't see, I'm just looking.
You got
through.
Old Mill Granite Group and who else? I mean, I know
Caldwell
there's,
Banker.
what's that?
You got Caldwell Banker, Old Mill.
Oh, Caldwell Banker, yeah. So I think
I guess we could ask for a proposal from all.
if we, I think it would be a matter of asking for a proposal from all three of those. And then, I don't think we need to make a decision on what route we're going to
Right.
sell it, right?
Yeah, I think we have time.
Yeah. So, I think I would entertain a motion to, sell the property, that we have the intent to sell the property at 85 Lake Street, with the method of sale to be determined at a later date, after we do some research. And to find out what's gonna give us the best return.
Sure.
So I don't have to repeat it, so moved.
Yep.
All right.
Second.
So motion by Don, second by Carol, to sell the property located at 85 Lake Street, the old fire station. Any further discussion?
The only thing I would say is let's not
I'll
make
try.
this any slower than we have to.
Mhm.
I'll try and get
Agreed.
as much as I can for your next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can hit the ground running
Yep.
in the new year.
We want the money.
And as a quasi unrelated aside, all of the lights are on in the front of the building.
We
need
can't
to
shut
do
them
that.
off. We haven't figured out how to shut
We
them off.
can't. Yes, there is some funky thing with the electrical that they.
Yeah, so
Shy of me
Enough
going
said.
up there on a ladder and snipping the wires.
Okay.
Yeah.
we
It's
tried to
keeping
figure
We
anybody
it
found out what
breaking
breaker
in.
it is pretty quick.
Well, the Rotary Club appreciates that there's more light on the trees with the
Yeah.
lights up there.
Because at some point I have to go over there and completely disconnect the fire alarm system too, so.
I have a couple other things
It
between.
can't be that
vote
much
first.
expense though.
I haven't
Oh, yeah,
on this
we did.
building. I have a
They're
couple
LED.
we didn't vote.
Did we?
They're
didn't
LED.
vote?
Yeah,
No.
That's why I've been like, whatever.
Oh, because it was still discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have
if
to-
not, I would've-
We're still in discussion, we haven't taken.
We're still in discussion, yeah.
Yeah.
So, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Before you close the public hearing, there are 3 things that people have approached us for in the building. And I wanted to close that discussion tonight with you, I think, because you're aware of 2 of them, I think. The first one is a flagpole. There's an individual who would like to buy the flagpole off the building. They've approached the fire department. I tried to reach out to them once before. I have the name. I don't know what we would even sell it for if we were going to, but this person is interested in buying the flagpole.
I wouldn't, we're not gonna take the building apart piece by piece.
Yeah.
The dedication plaque on the building,
Yep.
the discussion had been if we were going to try to make it stay on the building with whoever bought it,
There needs to be an MOU.
and if they don't, the family would take it back.
Yes, so I was with Dave the other day, told Dave what the plan I had come up with was, that there'd be an MOU, and that the plaque either go to the Historical Society or the family if the building is ever altered. But Dave liked the idea that, 20 or 15 years from now, he can, if the building's still there in its existing state, he can show his grandkids, hey, this is the building that your great grandfather built.
Okay.
So,
So that needs to be part of the agreement.
yeah.
And we're not doing, this is something I just thought of, the facade, we're not doing anything with the facade, where the bricks
The facade that should have been fixed over a year ago?
Yeah.
Yep, no, we're not gonna do anything at this point.
sold as is. Last question, someone wanted to buy, I know that we didn't want to dismantle, but they don't want to buy, they want the letters on the building.
No,
It's Steve Hanser.
yeah.
Okay. So,
And the reason I say that is because somebody may want to open a restaurant
right,
or a museum or something like that, and there's this nostalgia of the building there. So, and I can think of a bunch of other people who would like those letters too, nothing against
they could call it Bristol Fire Pub.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Firehouse Pub.
that answers that.
Firehouse Brewery. Anybody else have any thoughts on Les, you look like you might have.
No, I was just thinking about it, I think there probably are a few people that would have that same request, so
Oh, yeah.
probably wouldn't be fair to.
Let the future owner decide.
No, there's a bunch of people, like, including myself, that would probably want those. so-
And they can approach whoever the future owner is if they,
Yeah.
and ask if they're gonna get rid of them.
Sure.
Yeah, we could take them off and auction them and see.
Well, I was
who
thinking,
really
yeah.
wants them.
Okay.
A fundraiser for the town.
I have enough junk that I've picked out of the throw-out pile down there over the years, so I don't want any more, but.
Okay, so that was all I had about the building.
Okay. All right, moving on.
Close the public
Oh, you gotta close.
meeting. You gotta close.
Non-public.
Oh, yes, so we declare the public hearing officially
We also done.
closed.
We also done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the unmerger of parsonage property, speaking of things that are taking too long.
Oh, hell.
Do you want that as part of the minutes?
There's the truth.
In your folders, under number 5 exhibit is the plan for for the unmerger. So I have a document that I'll have the church come in and sign if you agree. You are the ones to vote on the unmerger. So that is what the surveyors come up with, that's what the town's attorney has reviewed. And the town's attorney is currently working on the deed to do, and they need one line finalized with the surveyor, and then the deed will be ready. And I need to do this so they can also reference this. So that's it right now.
All right,
I will, go ahead.
I would entertain a motion to approve the unmerger, giving Christina the authorization to sign for it,
To finish it.
or to
outside.
close any necessary legal documents.
So,
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Scott, second by
Last.
Les, sure. Any discussion?
Rock, paper, scissors.
I will add, this is the church would like us to also consider a boundary line adjustment in the future, which would shift that red line up to the back of the church building and provide us with the other parking. They want to give us all of the parking, even because they know that they can still use it, which
Yep.
makes no sense, and it really doesn't make any sense for them to plow 4 spaces and us to plow the rest.
Yeah.
So that will be coming back before you at some point, but I wanted to get this done.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
And even with that, as it currently is, I'm sure we could come up with an MOU that we could take care of that for them since we're.
I was gonna say,
anyway.
we can give them an MOU
Yeah.
that will,
Lots of MOUs floating
I
around.
will
tonight.
let you know, I had to make a judgment call Thanksgiving storm and we did plow because I was very concerned about not plowing and not having, we didn't have any kind of MOU in place yet. We did plow, just so that you're aware of that. Because when we remembered the storm was coming, it was Wednesday late night. So I wanted to make sure I told the board that I did do that.
thank you.
For the,
They probably used it for parking for the tree.
well, I was afraid of that because I was afraid that we had the tree lighting and I was afraid people were gonna need to park there. My plan is to close, and I'm gonna send this out tomorrow, and my plan is to close as soon as I have a book and page and the deed next week.
Okay, so do we currently have an MOU for plowing that parking lot?
No, and that's why I have to get that done too. That came up after I talked to you, I did not have an MOU in place, the
Yeah.
storm hit, and I'm like, we're gonna have it open
Yeah.
for the tree lighting, so.
Yeah, that needs to be done ASAP,
Yeah.
so. Okay,
so you think you'll be able to close this month then?
I do anticipate closing this month. I do, the only other thing which I'll bring to your December 19th meeting would be how we potentially encumber the funds for the rest of the project. So, but that's also under encumbrances, so that's the hope, sorry.
any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Christina, for
Yay.
keeping
Yes,
this.
thank you.
Fingers crossed.
for finally getting that to the 1 yard line.
I can't say on public TV, you have to wait until later for it.
All right, 2024 encumbrances.
This is just the draft encumbrance. I wanted to let you know, it's probably a perfect time to also talk about, we have the spending freeze in place right now on unnecessary purchases. I think we need to extend it 2 more weeks,
Good.
extend it 2 more weeks, and we'll talk more in the TA report about the TAN and about the tax rate setting. But if we do, you're going to see more encumbrance is coming next week because there's some equipment purchases that fire department was planning on. I told them to get quotes and get them ready, and we'll bring them to the board because they can still come out of this year's budget so we can finalize those things without hurting them for next year's budget.
Yep.
So right now, oops, I guess I should share that, sorry. Right now, this is minimal. This is the drafts that, I have the Pemmy Path project. I have a contract with KV Partners to continue the work on the Pemmy Path project. So that is coming out of the EDC budget, which is for the Pemmy Path project anyway. So that's the amount that we haven't spent this year, and we're contracting with KV Partners to be able to continue doing work on that project.
Who again?
KV Partners, Mike Bignelli.
Thank you.
Yep. Engineering, I put here a question mark. We still, it's engineering/survey. We have to, so I'm up in the air which way. We have survey that we are doing on 2nd Street. And we can he can't do that till the spring. We would have paid for that out of this budget. So I'm gonna check with Colin Brown to see if we
Is
could
that
do
for
a
the right of
contract.
way?
Sorry?
That's for the right of way?
Yeah, we're doing also the extension of that street because it's not developed right now, but there might be some encroaching, so we wanted to make sure we did the whole road. So it will either be engineering or surveying that I try to get that taken care of for you. Town report, that may come out. I think we're gonna we'll have that discussion under the TA, so I just put it there as a placeholder. This again is draft only. Master planning, whatever is remaining in the master planning fund, they're contracted to finish the land use chapter, so we wanna make sure we don't lose that money and bring that forward so that they can finish the land use chapter and master plan. So, fire equipment, I don't have a number yet, but that was what we talked about. And then my question is going to be the demolition and the project on the, so that's what I have right now. I may have more.
And that will not need to go to a warrant article as long as we close before the 1st, correct?
No, no, won't have to go to warrant article, but we will have to have a contract. And my thought, I have an idea, I don't know if it will work, is to contract with KV Partners because they're the ones who did our estimate to be the contractor for the project.
Yeah.
And then I think we can encumber that money and not lose it, and instead of having to go back to warrant article. He could be the contractor for the project because that's who did all of our estimate. I did ask him, he said the estimate is still good. He didn't need to change any numbers. I asked him that last week. So I don't know if that is going to work or if I can do that. I'm still working on that. So I don't want to do something inappropriate. Don't want to make it sound like we're doing something. I just don't want to lose the money if we can help it. So.
Well, we can't actually enter that contract until after we obtain the
But,
property.
yeah, oh yeah. So
That's the worst part.
So that's
is
why I'm
sequential.
hoping by the end of next week, we can close on the
Close on it,
property.
yeah, as soon as you
and
close, then you can
yes.
execute the contract.
Yes.
That would work.
Yes, I haven't asked them to do any of any kind of agreement yet, but.
All right. Warrant article review.
I updated a thing, there's some, in your folder under number 6. Nope, that's not it, sorry. Also, I had also included the budget in case you see something, I'll email it to you tomorrow. Sorry, going back to draft encumbrances. I was gonna send you the budget so you could look at it and see if there's something that jumps out at you that you think we should look at encumbering as well. So I'll share that with you via email. That's why the budget's in there, sorry. So under number 7, the draft warrant, I want to schedule a work session on the 19th. to talk. We had said we would do that and bring Energy Committee in to talk about their warrant articles request, but I didn't know. You'll see Chris Bean has asked for another warrant article to be added, and I'll show you that as we go down. Ben has a couple of warrant articles on here. Chuck may have a warrant article. Both Scott and I will talk about that a little later. And then I thought the location of voting should be discussed, and I didn't know if we should bring in or anyone else, sorry. So I can roll down.
Only 3,500 for accrued wages.
Oh, I wrote 35, sorry.
You
It
missed
should be-
it.
The debt,
You
the
missed the
comma's in the
zero.
right spot.
The comma's right.
Yeah, so you could probably, no changes to the, obviously the fireworks article. The accrued wages, the capital reserves, I did update some notes here so you could see accrued wages. I thought we could potentially, we have 109,000 approximately in the fund right now. We do have two longer and people retain.
To potential in the
Thank
next
you.
few years.
It's catching tonight, apparently, Carol.
That 35,000 needs to stay in that.
Okay. So the thing I will point out is that one of them has used quite a bit of time because of short term, and the other also doesn't have as much time. So potentially, the two that I'm thinking could be, I would probably round it to maybe $20,000 to $30,000.
Yeah, I could go with 25,000 on that.
Okay. So I'll change that to issue.
Yeah, we should be able to figure out what the liability on this.
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, I think that we're safe with the 25,000, so.
Yeah.
The assessing capital reserve, I wouldn't suggest a change. We're gonna clean that account out next year. Right now, it's approximately 56, and then we're gonna be spending 54.8 of it. That's the minimum that we'll spend for the reval next year. So I don't suggest cleaning the account totally out, so. Fire equipment, that is approximately 375 for that number. I don't think we should lower that down, 100,000. Highway equipment is approximately $21,000, and it definitely shouldn't lower that number down for equipment. Police vehicle, I talked, right now, we have to confirm this. What we have in our documents is 25,000. We think that number may be inaccurate, and we need to talk with the trustees to confirm. Chief Bean was asking to increase this to 73 because that's what a vehicle's costing him. If the 25 is correct, I don't think we need to do that. But I know that Dawn mentioned something about the police revolving fund, so I added the note. We currently have about 7,700 in there.
Right.
We haven't been able to pay, we haven't used it to pay for a vehicle at all in the past few years. It's only been capital reserve.
Right.
And this year, we approximately up to 2,000 that we're going to be adding to that fund. Details, even though we've increased it, we pay the detail rate of the officer and we pay the retirement from the details. So that extra money does go into this account at 100% after we pay the officer and the retirement, so. So that's where that number is at.
So, good. Dawn, can you explain that to me? If we have 25,000 and we need 73, what are you recommending we do?
It depends if we actually have the 25 in there.
I have to confirm that number. If we actually have the 25, I don't think you need to change this. I think 65, I mean, again, you're not saving, you're not putting any extra in, unfortunately. Every year we're putting the money in and spending it, putting the money in and spending it. We're not building the reserve up.
Right, but you haven't spent it down, or am I just not understanding this?
Well, the intent of that is not to really build it up like it is for the large equipment like highway and fire. The intent on having this rather than just appropriating it and then having to spend it that year if it stretches out over the year, it doesn't have to be encumbered. You can, this capital reserve is more on flexibility rather than building up an amount in there.
Right, so if,
But, yeah, the math isn't working for me either.
to take it to
25,
you put 50 in, you get 25, you get 75. Is that cutting it too close? If there's 25.
if there's 25 in it, and he's thinking that he needs 73, and we can take 2 from the other, then 50 might be enough to put in there. If all those numbers are correct, let's verify.
Right, we have to verify
Let's
the
verify
numbers.
the numbers. yeah.
So-
I'm not trying to cut
No.
it, just trying to say.
Oh, no,
No.
no,
We're not trying to, it's not a savings account.
right, yeah, there's
That's why-
no need to put
Somebody else can
15,000
see
extra
what-
in it,
Well,
you know, especially in a tight year.
Somebody else might see what I saw and say, wait a minute, that math doesn't work.
Yeah,
And it's just, the next line, whatever we can get that down to.
well, I put it down, I did, it's right now at 50, well, I think by the end of the year, it may be a little below the 50. But I do believe it can be lowered. I put a 25,000 as a question mark. I could probably reduce it to 20.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable reducing it much more than that, and the concern is, there's a couple bills that we've said to come out of the building fund, I don't think have been counted in this number, so it will drop that account a little further, so.
okay.
That makes sense to me.
But I'll confirm the police vehicle. SCBA bottles and masks, it was suggested last meeting to take out of the equipment. It will drop the figure after we put the money in down to the 410 approximately. And then Ben just wanted to relay that he didn't support this, but we could certainly, if we do the work session, have a conversation about why he doesn't support that.
He doesn't support the warrant article, he doesn't support taking it.
He doesn't
Taking
support
capital.
taking it out of the capital reserve.
And you feel the same way, right?
No. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the same reason.
I mean, in that, I'm still,
Yeah, the cash flow, the CIP,
I just know what's coming.
yeah, the cash flow that the CIP committee has takes into account the bottles and masks as well as compressor.
Yeah.
But
So who,
we may have to look at it that if you're feeling that we're not estimating future equipment high enough, that's probably something that needs to be looked at.
And here's the problem, is it's gonna be like, over the course of 10 years, it's gonna be bang, bang, bang,
Oh, yeah,
to the tune of $3 million plus, probably $4 million.
yeah.
And that's just, it should have been on that, like, every 8 years, there's a new piece coming in, and it's, you got that big,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a bulk rather than spread out.
and it's, even 20 years ago, it was like, we're gonna fix this, but we clearly haven't, so.
I was gonna say, I'll dig up the cash flow.
I think I have a
Analysis.
copy if you want.
Yeah, I can send that out to the board. And then, I'm not saying one way or the other on this, but since the question is raised, let's look at the data and see
Right.
what works.
I see it literally between, my estimate would be between now and 2038, you're looking at all three of those pieces being, those major pieces being, needing replacement.
Yeah.
I updated, when I showed you this on the next article, the EMPG match grant, I had the wrong number in there. It's 125,000, the benefit is 100% offset though. Ben is going to review before the end of the year. He doesn't know if we're going to be able to, he's going to be able to do this or not next year, so this may come off. But right now, it would be 125,000 with 125,000 offset by grant.
And what is the intention of that money for?
It was the generator.
Generator.
Sorry.
I figured it was something electrical,
It was the generator, yeah, for the public safety building. Article 10, we'll have more information. We're working on the wording. That's the increase the staffing that we talked about. Ben had mentioned previously. Capital reserve for the energy related projects. We're gonna invite the energy committee to the work session. Cemetery funds, we've already talked about that, I just have to get the correct wording. And then the new thing, the next two are new. I took the compactor off, we reached out to the company that maintains the compactor, and they gave us a report on it. We don't believe, we could have some maintenance next year, but we don't believe that needs to be replaced next year. So, we put that off. So is this a good time to tell you about the styrofoam visit on Monday? Scott went, Chuck and I went, and when we visited Guilford, and to look at their styrofoam program. So I brought samples.
Oh, yeah, what is it?
So they went to look at it, and I have pictures. I didn't get off my phone yet, but the program, there's a way that Lakes Region Planning Commission will do a grant. It would be 100% funded. They will write the whole grant for us. So what this will do is it will take the styrofoam out of the MSW, which would allow you to compact more MSW into your current bins, and then that will lower the number of hauls that you're doing on MSW. So that would save some money there, is the way they explained their process. I can't remember how many hauls they saved. It was like, I think she said close to 10 to
10%.
It was a big,
10%. You'll add 10% weight to the
Weight.
container.
Yeah,
so your weight will go up,
yeah.
but you'll have less hauls on the other end,
Sure.
so you'll have less hauling fees. So,
The other thing I'd like to know, and maybe you might have the answer, maybe I'm getting ahead, is what the yearly maintenance on this is going to cost.
so they said that, we asked them that too, about the maintenance. We actually have learned from their mistakes if we do this. So they had really no maintenance until they made a mistake. They made a mistake, and we know not to do it that way now. So, and they overheated the machine, and instead of, they shut it down, and what happens to liquid cooled styrofoam when you shut down something and let it cool
Freezes
off?
up in the barrel.
Yeah, they have a picture of they had it unplugged, they said everything was off, but they have a picture of their worker sticking his head into this machine, and they were chipping it out.
Oh my God.
Oh,
But they
What
said,
happens?
That's the
so
byproduct.
this is, it won't look like this specifically, this is the styrofoam piece, that's what it comes out to. They have two people that do this, and they spend 1 day a week, and they have 20 communities coming to them right now.
They should paint these
They make
as
kids'
snake
clothes.
and
Put
sell
rattles
them.
on the end.
Here,
So
this is my keychain I got.
yeah.
Put little rattles on the end.
Oh,
So one of
that
the
is
employees
so
does that just
cool.
for fun.
Polystyrene.
That is neat.
So
Jesus.
that's just a scrap piece.
Yeah. but
That's
it's-
not the final product how it looks. So
Yeah.
It's coils, right?
it takes someone to
It
takes someone to
Should
feed
have.
the machine, and then someone is at the outlet, and they kind of feed the outlet into not a
Into a coil
coil.
sausage.
Well, it's kind of it's back and forth. It's
Like taffy.
it's like taffy. It goes back
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
forth,
it's like
and
making
then
some
it
extra fried
Like
then
that.
goes on a pan, and then it go to the next layer, and they
It looks-
palletize it. So you make bricks essentially.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the break. They have some really neat things that we learned from them, and we'd like to put a couple things in. So this is what they all look
Oh,
like
wow.
when they're done. They look like bricks in this
That's
room.
cool.
They've done 2 half deliveries, and they've got $8,000 in revenues.
Wow.
2
Oh, so
half-
they're gaining revenue from this?
Because they
Oh,
have
yeah.
20 communities coming to them. We
Yeah.
have 3 we know will come to, well, we think will come
And
to
they-
us.
And they think, so instead of traveling further over there, they would come to this site.
Did they give an estimate on how many man hours it takes per week to?
1 day a week, and it's not even a full
Half a day.
Half a day.
This
That's
is
6
kind of a
hours.
win-win.
So half a day on cardboard, half a
2
day on
people.
styrofoam.
It takes 2 people.
2 people, because
Half a
one
day.
has to feed the machine,
2
and they
people, half a
sort
day.
out, you can't do soft styrofoam, you have to do the snapping, or you can do, the styrofoam containers your food comes in, you can do those. But you can't, you have to mix the 2, because that's where they overheated. But they take one person feeding the machine, and one person on the side pushing it down into that brick as it comes out.
Question.
So, same conversation we had about recycling in general, why so many towns have stopped recycling, because it costs you more than not. It costs you more money to recycle than not recycling. And I think where
When you
Rob
do it
was,
wrong.
where Rob was kind of going with the questions is, anytime you get a grant, it's all wonderful, it's all free, and then 5 years down the road, what is it? The
So-
grant's gone, what's it costing you to operate it, to maintain it, and what are you getting for revenue? Does the revenue cover the cost of operating?
416
Do we need another-
hours.
Do we need another person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
They-
Do we know that?
They did not have to increase
They didn't
any
have-
staffing.
They didn't
Not-
have staff.
None whatsoever.
But
They
it's
spent,
$14,560 a year
Revenue.
in cost to operate that machine.
you're talking about hours.
Hours.
Yeah. So the only other
I'm
thing.
just
Yep.
doing a rough
Right,
calculation.
So they only made
That's what I'm
eight-
getting at.
Yeah.
they
Everything
made
always sounds great.
8,000 and that was 2 half deliveries. So if they'd done full deliveries, so they would have made 16,000.
Yeah,
They
so you're
did
talking
full.
about a break even between your
Right.
manpower and,
But it
But
would
you
save
weren't-
you money on the hauls,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that, there is a savings there. They're seeing, their take on it and their board's take on it, and I'm not, was that they felt it was the right thing to continue to do. They never stopped doing recycling, even when everybody else did.
But what would
But-
be the cost, did they give an estimate of how much money they saved on 10 hauls?
Chuck wrote down in a bunch of notes.
They showed me their Excels, and I thought that she said that they saved 11,000, but that, don't quote me on
Well,
that, because that's
They
something
may
my
pay different
head.
on hauling, figure out our hauling. What's ours, 285?
285, well, it depends on what we're hauling, but if you do
No.
285, yeah,
Solid
the haul.
stream,
Yeah,
or, yeah,
What time?
the municipal waste,
yeah.
not, yeah, and it's not per ton. How much is it per pull? on the
Well,
hauling?
it's 285 a haul.
285, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
yep.
So,
So divide our,
So-
in half.
yes, it's
So you're-
it's $30 per haul that you're saving, so however many we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, so let's say, if
Depends on how-
they saved
what's
on
our
10 hauls, we're probably gonna save on 7. So at 7, it's roughly $2,000 we're gonna save.
On hauls, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can give you a little bit more information at the work session. This is not anything that
No,
we said we
thank you
did.
both for going over there. I'm glad,
Yeah.
I wanted to go over and check it out.
It was, they didn't run the machine unfortunately, but we could see their setup. It had, there's a box and there were 2 roll doors. They did have to spend a little bit for running electricity, depending on where you put it, to the thing,
Oh, right.
because it has venting. And then everything is in that box, and they have these recycle bins that everybody just puts their recycled thing in. There's a bag inside of it that holds the styrofoam. You pull the bag out, put a new one in, and go do what you need to do with the bag.
Then you find a way
So-
to make money off of those blocks.
Yeah. So Kyle,
Well, they do take, sorry, go ahead.
so 2 things. Kyle from the,
Matt Rose
Matt, or
from
Matt.
Lake Region Planning Commission.
Kyle was the superintendent.
Yeah.
So Matt is willing to come talk to us and give us some more information. He's the one that writes the grants.
I wasn't going to
Yeah.
schedule him till January, but I can ask him to come sooner if you want him to come, so.
And then the other thing, you were asking about cost. So when they did have that issue, they called up the manufacturer, the owner of the company, and he gave them total support. And I don't believe there's any
I don't
cost
think he charged them.
for any
Sure.
replacement parts that they have.
yeah, if Chuck can put it together, or you guys can put it together, is it run on electricity or propane? The heat?
Electricity.
Electricity.
So again,
It's
there's
3 phases,
There's
220.
another cost.
There's another cost. So what's the breakdown? So that we can go to the voters
Well,
and say, hey, look, we're gonna save this, but you're getting the benefit of
Right.
recycling and helping.
As well.
Right,
Right.
and
And where does
that's,
this stuff go?
There's
To the
a
dump?
place in
No.
Canada that buys it.
if you're breaking even, and it's a positive impact environmentally,
That's what I'm getting at.
it's gonna be a little bit of a pain in the butt for people to have to separate their styrofoam out.
Right,
Let's I'm already trying to figure out where I'm gonna put another trash barrel.
They do have companies, sorry, Don, they do
Okay.
have companies that you sell to that do it for insulation. What was the other thing?
It was primarily the insulation board.
Insulation was the biggest thing that
100%.
they take this recycling and they use it for, so.
So obviously they're buying it, so they're using
They
it,
are,
they're not
yeah.
throwing it out.
Right.
So I think we should certainly
Yeah.
continue to pursue it,
Yeah.
so.
And we did learn we got some other information too, like, as simple ones that we could implement right away. Did you call Larry?
I gotta call Hannaford's, but we would like to look into plastic bag recycling. It's no extra charge, it's a box. If Hannaford's does it, only if Hannaford's is doing it, then we fill our box with plastic bags, we take it and give it to Hannaford's and they send it back with theirs.
Yeah, Hanford does do it.
One of the things that you can get is one free bench a year, it's called Trucks what? Trucks.
The manufacturer
Truck
sends
something
you.
recycling, and you could get a truck's bench for free every year. if you want.
With the
That stuff's
goal of,
expensive.
what,
Yeah.
Two-person bench.
Sorry,
what is our goal
So-
if we do that?
No, so ultimately, they have one little plastic bin that like where the aluminum dump bin is.
Yeah.
You put a little trash bin, and you put your recycling bags in there. And then if Hannaford's is willing to take the bags,
it's next truck.
that's where we have to talk to
That's
them
the
first.
box.
If they're willing to take the bags, then we bring our bags to them.
That's awesome.
They tally how many
That's the
bags we're
box.
dropping off,
Oh, okay.
and
It takes no
then
room.
they send that to the company, and at the end of the
You just fill
year,
that box.
if you meet a certain number of bags,
Did you
I
get
hate
a
those
very
things.
small
Veg.
bags?
What's that?
Plastic.
you get a badge.
No, yeah.
Look at that paper.
So just so
But the other thing, like bubble wrap and stuff like that could go in those as well. The-
just with the question of why would we do this? I know.
Just to keep bags out of the trash.
Yeah,
Why?
why not?
There's
Why not?
a definite environmental benefit to those trash bags not going in.
Right.
Yeah.
Come out on the ocean with me sometime.
Well, there's no way a trash bag from Bristol is getting in the ocean.
Sure there is.
No.
If it ends
Where's
up
our
in
trash?
landfill in Rochester, New Hampshire.
Are we incinerating everything?
I thought we go to Wheelabrator.
Yeah.
We can burn it. But anyway,
I'm just saying, this is the argument that I hear
Which-
that I don't like. Our trash is gonna end up in the ocean.
That's not-
Carol?
I guess that's not
Sorry,
my
sorry.
argument about it, I just think
Don't
that
get me
it
started
is
on
a
my
nice
dolphins
thing
and
to do,
turtles.
so.
that's the one thing I'll.
Dolphins and turtles.
But if it
So
doesn't
anyway,
cost us anything to do it,
Right, it's, this would be like a
This would be free.
net zero cost.
So, yeah, we
The only
can.
cost that would be when that 1 ton goes out to collect the trash around town, they take a quick swing up to Hannaford's and drop that
Drop
bag
it off.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What I wanna make sure that if we go to town meeting, we know what we're saying.
we're
Sure.
not gonna
That's-
say,
that's
we're gonna
what-
try to save the turtles.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Right.
say, it's just a good thing.
We're not even there yet.
Well,
We're not even there yet.
What's that?
Notice my
It's
turtle
a good
picture?
thing to do, and we might be able to get a really nice bench out of it.
Yeah.
Every year.
That's gonna last for a long
Free
time.
bench, Carol.
Look,
A bench,
We'll put it on
Carol.
Upper Birch Drive.
No, we'll
Put your name on it.
No,
Yeah,
let's
we'll put it on top of the curbing,
Put
on the
it-
side of the road, on
oh yeah,
on
you
that-
guys
on that asphalt
skated, you
chunk.
skated on that. You'll have to do it till the spring now.
put it at the water.
All right, let's
then
move
I'll-
on.
then
So
I'll be
the
a-
other thing we learned.
Sorry, then I'll be a citizen, I won't be a selectman. anymore.
Rob, the other thing we
Oh.
learned was that by having a actual
Oh,
weight
yeah.
scale
Yeah.
to weigh trucks
Yeah.
for your construction
Oh,
debris,
yeah.
they gained 50%.
50%, they were
They weren't
losing
charging enough.
50%.
Oh, yeah, neither are
We
we.
knew that, yeah.
Where did you go?
I know we are.
Guilford.
Guilford.
We've talked about
Recycling.
that since I started.
So
Yeah.
we can talk to Matt. Matt has all that information also
Nice.
for,
I would be curious to know what that cost is, but that's gonna be a pretty large upfront
how much do you
cost.
think?
And
Well, there
having,
were
scale?
I
grants,
have a number.
there were grants too,
Scales, like-
wasn't
There are
Probably
grants
80.
available, but how much do you think?
About 80 grand
Installed.
for a good scale.
Yes.
Yes.
I was gonna say.
That was the number he
Nice.
gave us.
to Laconia and had to go through the weighing process and to the Concord, for, when I worked for DES to Concord, there will be people complaining about how slow that process is. It's really slow.
Theirs was,
If you have a,
their setup isn't though,
you have to weigh your truck twice.
Yeah.
yeah.
You have to weigh your truck
Dump it,
twice.
and then
Weigh
you
it
gotta
way
get
in,
back
then
in
come back
line
around.
behind everybody and weigh it a second.
And then you need to pay for somebody to run that scale.
So I'm just, we could talk
So
about it
that's
later.
manpower
Well, they have to be
intensive.
trained, So your existing staff can
Their staff
be
is-
trained,
yeah.
they didn't add staff to
Yeah,
a
and
scale.
then the scale has to be certified every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They, what did she say, $200? I
Yeah.
thought she said $200 to certify it.
Or something.
But,
All right, moving
so-
on.
You're being negative Nelly.
Oh my gosh, I get this.
Really, the negative vibes over there.
The seat,
It was
the
a
seat's
really,
fine. When I'm
we
sitting
just,
over there.
so we just wanted to share, it was a really impressive visit. It was interesting to see all the things that they have a lot more they can do because they have a bigger site. I mean, even the composting, they don't do food composting, they do leaves and
Mulch.
mulch.
Yeah, they take
And they set
logs.
it up in stages, so by the time, this one over here is now loaned that they can now sell to landscapers.
Nice.
I'm like, the problem we have is we don't have the space,
Space,
but
there's
some of
space
those
there.
ideas.
Black gold.
I know.
Yeah.
Wood chips,
Wood-
they take stumps, they grind stumps,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
grind reclaimed
How
asphalt.
many people work there, Scott?
I
Two.
don't remember, I don't.
Six. No. There wasn't
We
much
only have
more than
two
us,
employees.
like
It
one
wasn't-
more person than we
I think it
had.
was only one more person than we have, but.
But how
they-
many days of the week are they
But
open?
they're open Tuesday through, I'll tell you for sure.
No, I'm not saying we all wanna go down the road of those
See,
other
No,
things.
but
Let's
But
talk
they
about
offer it.
firearms.
I think we should do everything.
Next thing you know, we get 6 full-time employees and transfers.
No, what we do is we work with Alexandria, because they've got the
Yeah,
area
that's
to do
right.
this,
Right.
and we end up putting a lot
Yeah.
of, working with them,
And
that
they
a lot of our
want
stuff goes over there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and some of it.
We gotta
stays there.
regionalize, that's,
Yeah.
we're
That's
at the,
right.
and
Yeah.
5, but, yeah.
They
Yeah.
are open Tuesday through Saturday,
Yeah.
8 AM to 3:45 PM.
They
Okay.
had a shooting range,
Nice
and they
point.
also had
Oh my
fire
God, they
training.
did.
Which is a great segue into the next article.
Yes, nicely done.
Yes, very good.
All right, so the firearms replacement for the police department, they were going to try and do it through the budget, but the number came in a little higher than they anticipated at 25,000. I would have him come in and explain why at the work
Can
session.
it wait a year?
I don't know, so that's why I would rather have him talk to you at the work session, and then you can make a decision from there. And the last one I'm still working on, the only thing I did find out is that you can, so the article, when we established the revolving fund for the transfer station, it was for promoting recycling through improved transfer station operations. It was specific that all refunds from our participation in Concord Regional Solid Waste Cooperative, so it didn't really talk about taking anything else but that. So
Okay.
we would have to close that account, which is about $192. I think we can use that 192 to open a new
Open a new one.
account.
I was gonna say, we'll just start a new capital.
So I'm working on that wording and then trying to figure out how best to, how we word it.
Okay.
One thing Ben pointed
Yeah,
out
that's-
when I talked to the department heads about it, he said that when the ambulance capital reserve, when we first established it, we wanted it to be 1%, and they were told no at that time. So he wants to know how we can get away with saying 1% of the revenue. So I'm gonna check into that, because he would rather his ambulance capital reserve also be 1% instead of a flat number like it has to be. So I'll let you know all of that hopefully by the 19th, so.
Oh, okay. Well, if we can't do a percentage, we already, I think we discussed a little bit, it would be from the recycling. Not.
You would have to have a
Because
flat
we
number.
won't want to do all revenues, but.
Right, it's just from the recycling sales, kind of, that was what we were
Right.
talking about.
Okay, but maybe just half of the recycling sales we were talking, okay.
But we were saying 50% of that at the time when we talked, but the question would be, can you do that? Or do you have to say it has to be the first 1,000 or first 2,000 of recycling sales? That's what Ben's point was,
Okay.
because when we did the ambulance, we have it set at the first 60,000.
Yeah, but the way we did the police detail fund, there was
Yeah, they let them,
30% came out,
they let them do that, I
they
know.
left them doing there, so that's why I figured it was okay.
Yeah, and,
Rules might have changed.
yeah, so we know, because we just changed that, and the Department of Revenue didn't say anything about it being 100%. I wonder if it's, the difference is because it's a revolving fund and not a capital reserve, maybe?
Right, that could be.
All right, let's talk about revenues.
Oh, before we leave, work session on the 19th, so we just scheduled the non-public for 5 o'clock, do you want to do an hour for this work session, 5:30 to 6:30, to talk about the warrant articles, to get them done? We would need to vote on these in January.
What is the non-public again?
Hmm.
Give me-
I have a
Beacon Hill.
meet and greet potentially, and your
Beacon Hill,
Jeffers.
Jefferson.
You're gonna need more than a half an
Does
hour.
that have to be, can that wait till January?
The work session?
No, the non-public.
No.
Right.
Um,
We need an
no,
hour for that work session.
yeah,
So
I can,
5:30
well,
to 6:30.
here's a question, we don't need to do.
What's that?
Potluck.
Do you want me to order pizza?
Order pizzas.
I'll stop
do
by
you-
the house and bring pizza.
Do you
We might
want to
just
say
go in
you don't need to do a meet and greet for,
for hours before I came.
normally we do a meet and greet for any proposed new members, and that would be the 19th as well. Do you want to say we don't need to do that and just do the, or do you want to
I
do?
don't remember what that meet and greet is.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Sorry.
Don't leave for a minute.
We're meeting and greeting.
We're meeting and greeting now.
So I had that set up for the 19th at 5, as, or right around
Just
5,
go
but we
on.
just had to schedule this non-public. That's at least a half an hour, that other non-public.
So we
It'll be
start,
30 minutes or less.
we start our meeting at 7,
Hmm?
the regular meeting at
Oh.
7.
So we can go from 5 to 5:45 if we, with the meet and greet. And then from 5:45 to 6:45 or 7 for the work session, and start your public session at 7. Is that gonna
Don't the
work?
non-public.
I went from 5 to 5:45.
Okay.
Are you good with that?
Does anybody want to start?
Crap, Ben can't.
Why don't we just start at 4:30?
I'm fine with that.
I might have to
I'm fine
leave.
with that.
I have a family event that day.
I'm good with
That should
that.
be it.
I'm good with 4:30.
So 4:30 for the non-public.
What time?
I will do 4:30 to 5:15, and then start your work session at 5:15 for an hour.
I can do the non-public.
So you're gonna do the meet and greet from 5 to 5:15?
Yep.
Okay. And then the non-public would be after that?
Well,
or
meet and
the,
greet is non-public.
No,
so-
but the other,
Oh, no, 4:30, that would be,
all right,
4:30 to 5.
I'll be here for that, and then the public session, I might have to leave for a little bit.
And then your work session will start at 5:15 on the
Work
warrant
session.
articles, and public session will start at 6:15.
Just let us know when we have to be here.
Are you good?
All right, so revenues.
This is just a draft, I wanted to, oops, that's not the right one.
Cliff notes.
Basically, I just wanted you to be able to see this, we're gonna, not all of the numbers are updated. We are sometimes, safe on our numbers.
More importantly, do we have a projection for the remainder of the year?
Well, no. Our meals and rooms hasn't come in, and we believe that's because we haven't set the tax rate yet. We are going to be coming in short, on revenues, a little bit, we think, because we lost the hauling that we were getting in revenues. This is up to date, this document, so if you looked at the bottom, the 2024 budget number was 2.1, we're just a little under right now. But part of that, I think, is gonna be meals, so we may come in right on the number. We aren't gonna come in as high as we usually do, I do not believe, so.
So which hauling are you talking about that we lost?
So, hauling, we were charging, haulers that were dropping off at the wheel grader. They were paying for that, it's in their league, it's in wheel grader's legal right now, so it's not gonna get resolved this year. And may not get resolved right away next year. If you look at the hauling number, which is Where the heck is it? That's this one's, so it's.
34, yeah.
Yeah, this one, 34,400. We projected 84, we're only at 40,000, we're not gonna get any more. We weren't able to collect any more. So I'm gonna take this out, obviously, I'm gonna drop this down. I don't believe I'm gonna probably put anything in projected for hauling, because right now, if legal doesn't resolve it, we aren't gonna get anything. So we're gonna lose that 84,000 in revenue. That's the biggest.
Here's the good news.
I am sorry.
Well, yeah, the
It's the
after the
biggest-
fact compliance
so the-
fees are doing
The
really well.
good news is, I can put in, I can put in revenue for, we talked about some portion of the sale potentially going into here, so for the building.
Mhm.
So I can put I think when we talked about it, we talked about 100, so we could offset that loss with with the sale.
Yep.
So yes, that's the worst case scenario so far.
Okay.
So,
Well, for
okay.
this year, if we get another 290-ish from M&R,
We have a grant opportunity
That'll put us
we're gonna
over.
apply for by the end of the year for additional ARPA funding from Grafton County. They're giving away 500,000 for 39 communities. We have our thoughts are to apply for water and sewer, because that's part of the reasons, the water and sewer infrastructure. We're doing the Central Street project, and that $40,000 that we mentioned was remember, it wasn't part of the funding. We were gonna have to decide where we were gonna pay for that. So it won't unfortunately help. Well, no, that project's 50/50, so it will help.
Mhm.
So if we can get some money from the ARPA funding, we're gonna try and get that grant in. We have to have it in by the end of December. We just got the notice today, so.
Under rents of property with the SAU, it says we budgeted 20,000, we received 10. Wasn't 10 what we always were getting?
Yeah, they didn't pay us last year. Let me go back to that. So we knew we were getting 20 this year,
Okay.
because we got 10 at the beginning of the year. We haven't billed them yet. We'll
So does
to-
it have to go back to 10 for next year?
Yes, yep, so that'll drop back to 10.
What are we renting to them?
We pay,
plow.
it's the plowing. And is it plowing and Kelly Park or just
No,
plowing?
it's just the plowing
Yeah.
through the roadway, through the school, right?
Yep.
Not the parking lots.
Just
Newfound
it's
Road.
just
Newfound
Newfound Road.
So it used to go to Kelly Park, but if you're accepting funds for one of your parks, then you are taking on full liability because it's like you're renting out
Ah.
the space. So they needed this plowing piece done, so that's what it became.
That's why it's still in that line. It's not rental.
that's true.
It
It's
started-
We
actually
probably
on the wrong-
should change the.
It started-
Oh,
it's
yeah,
on the wrong
right,
line.
yeah, that's
It
why it's
started
in that
there.
line, yeah.
Yeah.
Should probably go under miscellaneous and plowing services or something.
Yeah.
That's a good.
I don't know, we're not doing, it's not.
No, I think we're gonna break
Yeah.
even, maybe a little bit higher.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna be up if we get the M&R.
What?
You
We'll
think?
be up this year.
From
M&R
previous?
would be 290,000, we're 2 million now.
Would you explain
If
for
we
the?
did it this year, that's the
Meals
problem.
This
and
year.
rooms tax?
Would you explain for the general public and me what that means?
Oh,
Meals and rentals.
meals and rentals tax.
Oh, of
Is it
course, sorry.
rentals?
It's rental, it's not.
I thought there was an.
Everybody says
there's an
rentals,
and-
it's,
So-
it's meals and rentals tax and,
Our concern is some of these things won't come in before January
right.
1st, and they'll
Okay.
get booked to.
When do
it's
we
not
have to
gonna count.
close out the revenues?
We have to close out revenues December 31st. We don't,
Okay.
if they're, depends on when they're if they're dated in
Oh, right.
the 2024, then we're good. If they're dated even January 1st, 2025, we book them to next year. There's nothing, the revenues isn't like bills.
All right.
the way we're going, we're not gonna be setting the tax rate till January, so.
Yeah, no kidding.
Might have some good news, but we'll wait till Tuesday.
Let's get to that.
Good
TA
news.
report.
Oh, shoot. Okay, it's in your folders, but it was a little late getting to, sorry. Items for discussion, Christmas holiday event, everyone, there was a thank you that came in for the decorating committee for a beautiful downtown. They helped pick out the Christmas tree, hang the wreaths, light the wreaths, stripe the poles, did the whole decoration, it's beautiful. So we wanted to say thank you to them. We wanted to say thank you to the fire department for helping hang the lights and, on the Christmas tree. Thank you to the highway department, I'm in here, thank you for the highway department for helping get the tree planted. And thank you to Ken Braley for the donation of the beautiful Christmas tree. Did I miss anything?
And
Yeah, I think we
transporting
should
tree.
thank Santa and Mrs. Claus too for their time in
Oh,
the
yeah.
busy season.
Thank you to Santa's helper. In case there was
Even
anybody
though the lights
watching.
didn't go on the first time I hear.
No, it didn't, no.
One goes out there.
Another
It's
one.
all good, but I delegated that responsibility this year. So I guess technically that still does fall on me, but I
I'm
haven't,
missing the key still.
what's that?
I just realized I'm missing the key. I gave out too. I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, so I delegated the
Okay.
responsibility, so I guess any Facebook negativity can still be
I didn't
directed
see
at me.
any, although maybe Dawn, but,
There was one person complaining that the tree hadn't been, that they were waiting for Santa, and Santa was 4 minutes late,
yeah, and that wasn't the case.
so.
And
What?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody
And it was
complained Santa
cold.
was
Santa was
4 minutes
late.
And it was
Yeah.
cold out.
Santa needs to hurry up and get here because it's cold out.
Yeah, well, tell me about it.
My response to
fingers
that
were
like
Oh,
it is
that's
Bristol, New
right.
Hampshire.
Oh, and thank you
December.
to the wonderful entertainer
Yes.
down at the square.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't know. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't know, I might have already said this, thank you to Ken for transporting the tree, so
Yeah.
I didn't have to go get it.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
And it sounds like Ken has some nice
Yep.
trees for the
Could we maybe just send him a card or
Yep.
something? Yeah.
Where does he go to eat?
That's what I was thinking, maybe like,
I was thinking he used to go to Gillies, but I'm not sure he does now.
Gillies
I'd
or
have to ask
Gina's?
Gilly.
I don't know. Let's give him a gift card for Gillies for $20 or something. $25.
You want us to pick that up?
Look, I'm gonna text
Oh,
the owner to see if that's where he eats. And that's gonna start a whole
Yeah, and a big thanks to Matt O'Neill specifically from the fire department who was kind of instrumental in getting that done, so. I didn't
Everything
have
was
to.
great. The fire, the ladder truck looked awesome.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It's such a great night.
I really do have to add that the fire department helped me tremendously on Friday night dealing with the welfare issue. I was very thankful that I had gotten plowed out late and didn't have to come down to do that.
Is that the one I called you on?
Yes. I spent 3 hours trying to get fuel delivery and no one would deliver. So the fire department, Matt O'Neill, went and got, I think it was kerosene.
Off-road diesel maybe.
Yeah, and get it put into the tank to get them through the weekend, so.
Yeah. All right.
We
Is
received
it on the Friday night of the Christmas, was there more people there than ever, or was I imagining?
That looks like the most I've ever seen.
Huh?
Yeah.
That was the most
It's
I've
like
ever seen.
Halloween,
the events are definitely
amazing.
pulling more
It
people.
It was definitely, I was definitely bombarded by a swarm
Oh,
of
yeah.
kids that wouldn't let me back to the truck, so.
It was great.
We received a notice of regional impact from Molten Borough. They are hearing a case from variance, on a variance to permit and construct a wireless service facility. Any comments from the board? It's on New Hampshire Route 109, and the reason they have to do it is because it can, technically, it could be seen, is what they're saying. A regional impact, it has to go out to so many, any communities within a certain distance of something like that. So, I didn't think you'd have any, but I had to ask.
Cool.
What town is it?
Molten Borough.
Moltenboro? Where would you see?
See that from your house, can't you?
No, because the hills, I'm not high enough on the hill.
Stop. Pickett Hill.
Totally joking.
See
Yeah,
it?
Peaked Hill's in the way.
If you're on Peaked Hill, maybe they're the ones that can see it, I don't know. What even there?
It can't be any worse than the stupid windmills.
Well,
that
you
go
took
up
the
in
words.
lakes.
I can see the windows.
You saved me from saying it. Thank you.
I like them, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was on
Every
the
time Kenji
board.
blows them, I hope they blow over.
I was on the board then, sorry, everybody. Community solar grant application, our team's score fell below the requirement of a 65-point minimum, and therefore we were not selected to do the solar for the public safety building.
Okay.
So,
That's all we did for now.
tax rate setting, good news.
Yeah.
The school uploaded their forms today.
Nice.
I'm gonna call the Department of Revenue tomorrow to check in on when we can schedule. We are most likely going to need a special meeting next week. So I wanted to check and see if Thursday would work for the board. I can't wait until the 19th to
Can we do it sooner than Thursday if we had to?
We can, but the budget committee meets Tuesday. Whoops, wrong remote.
Does it have to be in
We
this
can find a
room?
different place
You
to
gotta
have a
run the
meeting.
rooms.
I have to be a budget committee and so does
Oh,
Les, that's the
right.
problem. So we can find different, I was gonna plan on you meeting upstairs anyway for this.
What if we met before the budget committee?
So budget committee starts at 6, so you could do any day next week as long, I just don't know what day it will be ready. I
We
have
can
to-
shoot for Monday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
I will be here on Monday. And Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday won't work for me.
so
I can probably
Monday,
get back here for 5 Monday, or Tuesday.
I'd like to have the whole board here for that, I think.
What are we talking about today?
would
Seven tax rate.
Tuesday at 5 work for you?
Tuesday at 5?
Alright, so don't,
Should.
Hold on.
don't hold that time just yet, because I have to talk to the DRA tomorrow.
I think that works for
Get out
me.
of January. Tuesday.
Tuesday?
I actually may not be able to do that.
Oh, is that the 10th?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to the
wait a
certain
minute.
holidays thing. The son is doing a trip.
Wednesday. Planning board's in here at 7, and we'll meet at Scott, planning board, but we could do it earlier.
I can do Wednesday.
You gotta be here for planning board? You wanna do it at 6, that way you don't have to go back and forth?
Oh, I will not be at the planning board Wednesday.
So Don, will you,
I'm telling you, there's,
are you the alternate?
I could do Monday. I got my Mondays mixed up, sorry.
I don't know if it's gonna be ready by Monday. Monday's
Okay.
probably too soon,
So the following Monday is definitely
too late.
Mhm.
I think Monday's too soon, so, for the DRA. I will talk to them tomorrow, but I
We
just,
shoot for Wednesday at 5, will that work for you?
when?
Wednesday at 5?
I know, Wednesday I'm gonna be in Concord for an event at 5:30, so.
So you need me on Wednesday at the planning board?
yes, I was just gonna ask you, how I'll get materials
Can we
to
do
you.
Thursday?
We can do Thursday, I was just trying to do it sooner.
Yeah, it's only 2 days.
Plan on next Thursday.
All right.
Because you can't do Monday, right?
I can't do it.
I can maybe do Monday or Tuesday, but I will not know until
Well,
Monday or
Christine
Tuesday.
doesn't wanna do Monday.
And she said it'll be too soon.
Monday, I think, is gonna be
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
soon.
And Tuesday also too soon.
I think Tuesday,
Oh, I'm not at the
Tuesday, I
budget
don't know
meeting.
yet.
Thursday.
I'm not at the budget meeting on Tuesday.
Who's the alternate? I think you are, Rob.
Burn out.
Alright, I mean, you could
There
assign
you
a
go, I'm
different
not coming.
alternate, but
I'm never gonna go to fire department training again, apparently.
Pretty much.
They're just pushing you out, you're at the end of your tenure.
Wednesday was out.
We were talking about that earlier,
I
about
could
people
do
who gotta get old and they don't.
Let's just make it.
They don't
Thurs-
carry their weight.
Let's just make it Thursday. It's the only
Thursday
day that's
works
gonna
Scott
work.
can't do Wednesday.
All right,
Thursday.
Thursday, and we'll
Thursday.
meet upstairs. Is there,
What
so-
time? 4? No.
You tell me.
I won't be there, I think it's around
What works?
until I'm 70, so.
Yeah.
5 o'clock Thursday?
5 o'clock Thursday.
Sure.
Going once?
If it changes,
Going twice?
Okay.
if I talk to her tomorrow
So-
and it won't work, I'll let you know immediately tomorrow.
12.
Good.
12th. Okay.
And it will be upstairs. Can meet at our new table.
Ooh.
Haven't done that in a long time.
Nice.
All right, so the other thing about that, we are most likely still going to need to use the TAN. We won't, even if we get the tax rate set next week, by the time the bills get out. So I will also have a form for you to sign at the tax rate setting that allows us to take the money from, I guess every time we want to withdraw from the bank, we have to have this form signed by the board with the amount that we'll need. We'll need at least the 1.1 million, which is the county bill, and that's due December 17th, and we're driving that up.
Yep.
So that takes care of that. Economic development, going back to tax rate, I did tell people, I did put a post out at the beginning of the week that they could make payments. They wanted to,
Oh, yeah.
just in case ahead of time, so. Economic development, I wanted to talk to you about having a work session among our group first. Because we were talking about, what do we need to do with the EDC, how do we revamp it, if we're going to, what kind of rules, guidelines we need to do. I don't even want to advertise for new people until I know that what you want to do. There is in your in the TA report folder, there is a concept document that was provided by a current member of the EDC, which has a specific focus. I can email that out to you, but I do think we need to have a more bigger discussion. So
February.
February? Okay.
Or, I mean, part of me says end of March, because you're gonna end up with 2 new members on the board.
My concern is that what are you gonna do before then about are you going to with short-term rentals? What do you?
We can talk about it in January.
Yeah, let's do,
Yeah, don't be leaving us out.
okay.
So February?
Do you think we could squeeze it in January, or do we wanna push to February?
I can check how much you got on your plate
How
in
many more
January.
meetings, Carol?
I've only got I've still got
6,
a year left in March.
6, but he's not counting. Don't count that.
I'm gonna get more grouchy as we go through it.
I'll watch your schedule for January if I think, and
If we try and get them in January.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're in your folders also, I will email that to you tomorrow, the final draft of the land use chapter. They would like to, do you want to discuss this as a group? Before feedback is needed, resilience planning will be attending the 122 planning board workshop, not SHIP, to review the document, and the planning board would like to have any feedback suggested prior to the meeting. But do you want to do individual feedback, or do you want to meet as a group?
That's what you sent out to us,
I didn't send,
Oh, we
I
didn't
didn't
get
send it.
Joanne sent it.
Joanne sent it.
Joanne sent it.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, so good, she
But we
sent
did
it.
get it.
Good.
So is that what she's looking for feedback
Yes.
on? Okay.
Yep. Do you,
I liked it.
I would just respond individually to Joanne on that.
okay.
Just make sure you do it, and more importantly, make sure I do it.
Am I supposed to put that in my phone?
It's a town administrator's job. Keep an eye on you and me.
I will follow up with Joanne if you haven't responded. Just wanted, the LRPC has provided a thank you card for the town. They'd like to express their sincere gratitude for the town's commitment in protecting our local water resources. Your involvement as a host site for the Household Hazardous Waste Program has helped to make our program a success and is a value added to our communities. Thank you for your help, and we look forward to working with you again in 2025. Sincerely, Matt Rose.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
They did give us a $500 check, which, for being a host site, well, because we also provided the dumpster and we were host site. So we do have that, that will go into revenues.
Well, look, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Upcoming schedule, 12/19 is technically the last meeting of the year. There will be a lot of year-end items to address, so heads up, this meeting may be long.
We're already starting at 4:30, right?
Yep. 12/20 holiday luncheon, I don't think I already sent you the invites yet, I will make sure I do that.
This is me RSVP.
Yes, this is you RSVP.
12/19 is what?
What?
It is 11 to 1 on 12/20 here at the town office. The temperature changed.
Oh, it's here?
Here.
No,
This,
no.
yeah, the big holiday is not till January. This is just the luncheon
Oh.
for Christmas.
So when is it?
12/20 from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
12:20.
here at the town office building,
12:20.
if we have heat.
Friday.
11 a.m.
12:23, I'll be out in the AM, just a heads up. 12:24, you previously approved the closure, non-emergency departments closing at noon on Christmas Eve. We will be closed for Christmas, but
I already have it in my schedule, but I have it at the Homestead Restaurant.
that's January. 12:26, I just wanted to give you a heads up, assessing and land use offices will be closed, the rest of the building will be open. I talked to Joanne about this. Normally, we like to keep their department open, but all of the staff are off the same day. We can cover if somebody comes in. So we just want to make sure you knew that they are going to post it, so.
I'm sorry, but what time did you say the luncheon was?
11 to
I thought
1.
that-
You can come at any time.
Shit.
Like the lunch?
11 to 1. But you don't
Oh,
have
that's a
to,
long lunch.
well,
What are we
because we
doing for
figured
lunch?
people wouldn't come right at 11.
What are we doing for
What's the menu? You asked.
I don't have to cook, right?
We have, so we have 2 platters that were donated, we're working on it. We were waiting until we got a food count, but we have platters donated from Hannaford. We have mac and cheese donated from Joanne. And I will be doing sweet sour meatballs.
You want to cook some burgers?
No. We have hot dogs upstairs. We can also do something with the hot dogs left over. We were gonna
chili sauce.
do hot dogs with them.
We cut them up into cocktail
Do
wings.
you need
Yeah.
hot dogs? 'Cause
We
the-
have 2
beans.
packages
In the
of.
Kelly Park freezer, there's probably 100 or more.
Holy,
Yeah,
what can,
100 packages?
100 dogs.
I'll
That's
find
like
out.
a
Let's
pallet
find out how
scoop.
many we have right now. January 1st, we're closed for New Year's. Happy New Year's. And January 2nd will be your next select board meeting after that.
All right.
On the items for information only, just they're in your folders, you can read through that and see if there's anything you want to discuss. I think that's it. I'm not saying it truly is until after you've all talked.
Select board items, Scott. Les.
Just Festival of Trees was amazing, record number of trees, that they raised a lot of money, I haven't seen how much, but they did
I
very
didn't
well.
realize they were open Saturday. too.
Yeah,
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and
Yes, I
Saturday.
would have come down on Saturday to check it out.
A lot of people have good comments about it.
It was amazing, and then Santa's Village is a week from tomorrow,
Yep.
it starts. For
Oh.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's all I've got.
Oh,
We had talked about a permanent tree rather than the one over, and I've had several, funny thing, I've had several people ask about that since then too, so it's probably, it's something that other people were thinking as
I
well.
did
so.
too, actually, not to mention it.
It's on my list to get the quote. I haven't been able to do that yet.
So next summer, probably a thing to look at.
Well, if it's in the budget.
Well, yeah.
So, right, so, sorry to.
Yeah, I'm just
No, but
saying.
that did,
Yeah,
where
how
did we leave off with the
I'm
other
supposed to
trees?
get Belknap landscaping quote.
that's got to go on the warrant article.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, I'm like, we,
So the question would be, I just thought of that too, should we be doing a warrant article to get all of the trees done and the Christmas
Probably.
tree? Okay.
So we
Because
need
I
to-
have the quote for the other trees. But, and then,
Add
the other
Christmas
trees
tree.
with maintenance,
Yeah.
and
so
then I have the
Add
Christmas
in,
tree.
putting a permanent,
And the maintenance on the oak on the,
I have that quote too, so I can do the warrant
that's
article.
gotta be added into
Yeah.
that.
okay.
Do we know anyone that knows about trees?
marginally.
I put them in the living room.
I got one in my truck.
Yeah, you got a bunch downtown. So. Carol?
Yeah, I'd like to apologize to the chairman for yelling at him about plastic bags. I'm sorry.
Do you want to see the video of my turtles?
He still doesn't wanna see it.
Conservation Commission, which I am on, will not be meeting the first Wednesday of January, which is New Year's Day, the night of New Year's Day. Unless, if something of note comes up that we have to take care of, we will schedule a meeting and properly announce it. So,
Question on the Conservation Commission.
yes.
Do you ever bring up the spring and putting a limit on how much people can fill?
We talked about
We've
They
had
talk
lots of
about it.
conversations about that topic and
Just be patient.
about how could we manage that and would a signs do any good? Because anytime we've ever put signs up, they just disappear eventually.
And then who
So,
polices?
putting up signs saying,
No, but who
can you
would
please
police?
be
Yeah.
considerate and let other people in line? I guess we
I
don't
was
have,
in- I
we
was
don't
in-
have a we haven't come up with a solution.
I was there the other day and the guy had like
I know.
5 gallons. So how you doing? I started talking. Yeah, I came all the way up here from Merrimack. Great, townspeople can't fill the water.
Yeah,
People are short of water, a lot of people are short of water everywhere.
Yep.
So last time we were in a drought condition, the same thing happened, it was really
Yep.
busy. Yeah, so that being, and that being said, we're gonna take a sample next week, it's our quarterly, time to take a quarterly sample.
But the Conservation Commission also, based on recommendation from the Budget Committee,
Oh, yeah.
the Budget Committee was concerned about the funding that had been proposed
For the Berry
the
Conservation
scholarship.
Camp.
Yep.
So it's something that the Conservation Commission did, when I was first on, years and years ago, we sent a couple kids to conservation camp. It's run by Fish and Game.
Yep.
And then for years, we had it in the budget and we never actually got around to recruiting anyone. Dick Batchelor talked to the school and they have a couple of, at least 3 that would like to do it, and we have the budget committee left in for 1, and we have a person in town who's willing to donate for the second one.
And if you know of more, Slim Baker's looking for candidates as well.
Okay.
So if he knows of more, we'll send them to me.
Okay, so that will be, that's a good thing.
The concern of the Budget Committee was that they wanted to set a restriction that they didn't think they had the ability to do, but they wanted the Conservation Commission to discuss the restriction being to a low,
Highly recommended.
to Bristol resident, but a low income.
Someone who
or
could
someone who
afford
needed
it.
it.
Yes,
could afford it.
and literally at the meeting last night, we said, yes, we will do that, but we didn't.
Yes.
We didn't decide how we will do that.
Yeah.
So that's that.
So we'll bring that and let the Budget
We'll
Committee
get on
know.
hold of that, yeah.
I know this is going down the road. We can push it, it has to be pushed down to next year, but do we want to propose, put this on our list of to-dos for next year? To the taxpayers, do people want to spend money to purchase land for conservation purposes? We also talked about, can we purchase some land for protection of our well area too? So, we can talk about the Conservation Commission, but just as the perfect example is, if we could somehow protect 15 acres around the spring, that would be, whether we buy it or what we've talked about trying to get an easement or something, work with the landowner, so. But for looking down the road, a lot of towns, now I'm on the other side of the environmental discussion, but a lot of towns people are happy to spend money to protect green space or.
Yeah, it's similar to what the discussion we had last week with the Alexandria Select Board.
Yes.
about The bog
Right.
for aquifer.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
And the planning board's involved with that spring also because we had concerns with zoning, the abutting zoning, so.
Oh, I did forget one thing.
For protection of the.
Yeah, well, that's the point, what can be done with those lands?
It's only if I let her go with it.
around the spring.
I think so.
Yeah.
I guess I had some comments about energy projects that I'd like to discuss, but we'll talk about it later. I guess.
Yeah, me. Great job, everybody with the, kind of echo what Les said with the tree lighting and the festival of trees and all that. Everybody involved with that. And just a shout out to the highway department. They've done a nice job the past couple storms getting everything done. So,
Did they have
No.
an issue with the sidewalk plow?
not that I know of.
Like the first day, like the whole day went by, like the
East
whole
Street.
sidewalk wasn't plowed.
It isn't, remember, it is a brand new employee.
No, I know, and that's why I didn't know if they had an issue with the plow or if
Not
it was
that I'm
training.
aware
or-
of.
Yeah.
They said they had some kinks to work out from the first storm, but
Yep.
but otherwise, everything went,
No, I didn't know if it was
I
equipment.
think it's kinks.
Okay.
I didn't get
With the
calls,
history of the
so-
holder.
No,
Yeah.
no news is good news, but no, everything seemed to have gone well, so shout out to them for that.
And essentially in a new role for Trevor.
Yep.
So it, you have 2 new employees that are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Public comment?
I will say the same about the highway department. Our road's been 100% great. They have good attention to detail and professional.
Yeah, excellent. Katie, you did it? One more thing.
So, I forgot when we were talking about town report, so we are trying to so we had some issues with this town report, the pages not staying the binding. They think they have addressed those issues at the printer. However, we've done this before, so it is, if we do spiral bound, it's for 500, it's 3,675. If you do perfect bound, is what they must call this, it's only $50 less.
Wow.
So I wanted to
$50 total?
get $50 less total, it's $3,625.
I would just do the spiral.
The spiral bound, that's what we were leaning towards.
Yeah.
It'll still be the same plain cover,
Yeah.
but spiral bound.
How many do we have left over?
Well, that's the other thing, we ordered.
We did cut it down, I
Every year we
don't,
keep cutting it down.
but I'm
somewhere.
wondering if we should cut it down to 400. I just
How
think
many
400 is too low. My concern would be is if you did have a lot, you have how many, people come in and get them beforehand. Plus we give them out for the dedication. We mail them to people in memory. We do that. We have to mail it to the library, the state library. We have to mail it to,
You might
There's
get
two
a price
others.
break at
It's not
500.
that much of a savings, let's just do
Yeah.
500.
yeah, so I don't think we had a lot of boxes left from 2023. I think there might be 2 boxes. We had a lot more in the past years. We're gonna look at getting rid of some of those now.
We had 500 last year.
Yes, I believe so. But so spiral bound, we'll go with that, and I'll double check if we did do 500 last year, I do believe we did. And if we did, then just leave it 500. It's $3,675, so, for the spiral bound.
All right. Motion to
Make a
adjourn.
motion adjourned.
It's only 7:15, we can't
Yeah,
leave.
I know. Can actually go down and check.
I was thinking the same thing.
Second.
Motion by Carol, second by Don to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
It is a done.